Bem-vindos ao sexto episódio do NuvemTALKS. Eu sou Maria Marmude, arquiteta, designer de interiores e fundadora da Nuvem Design. Aqui discutimos como a inteligência artificial está transformando os fluxos de trabalho, ampliando a criatividade e redefinindo a forma como projetamos. A cada episódio, trazemos conversas inspiradoras com especialistas da área criativa que estão moldando o futuro do design. Hoje eu tenho o prazer de apresentar nossa convidada, arquiteta, designer de interiores, Camila Rivero. Este episódio foi gravado em inglês, mas legendas em português e espanhol estarão disponíveis. Camila Rivero is an Argentinian architect and interior designer educated at FADU, where she developed a strong foundation in creative thinking and spatial design. Her early career took shape at WeWork, where she served as an interior design lead in Buenos Aires for over 3 years. There, she collaborated with teams of architects, artists, and engineers to bring to life dynamic workspaces that promoted creativity, collaboration, and community across Latin America. Always ahead of the curve, Camila was among the first in her generation to incorporate Revit into her workflow, favoring new tools over traditional methods. Her passion for digital technology naturally led her to explore beyond architecture into immersive media. Today, she is the CEO and co-founder of ERKS, a 3D design studio that creates digital realities. ERKS specializes in CGI, augmented reality, virtual reality, and mixed reality, also known as spatial computing. By combining expertise in 3D modeling, gaming, and programming, ERKS helps clients transform ideas into strategic and immersive experiences that support storytelling, product launches, and brand innovation. Camila's mission is to empower creatives and businesses to see technology not as a barrier, but as a creative partner. One that enhances design processes, saves time, and opens up new aesthetic and emotional possibilities. She believes that when used intentionally, technology becomes a powerful bridge between imagination and reality, allowing us to design smarter, dream bigger, and build the future together. Hi Camila, how are you?
Hi, Maddie. I'm good. I'm so happy to be here with you today.
Welcome to NuvemTALKS. This is our second mini season of the show, and I'm very happy to have you here. Again, this is an episode where we're speaking English, although I'm a little bit ashamed because Camila is from Buenos Aires. Am I correct? From Buenos Aires?
I am, yes.
Yeah. And I was supposed to be speaking in Spanish, but we're both speaking in English.
No, this is perfect. I think more people will understand this way.
Yeah. And anyways, we're going to have the subtitles in different languages so everyone can enjoy. So thank you very much for being here. I'm super happy and proud to have you here in the show. We both know each other from the past, and we're going to talk about that. But the truth is, I've always I was always an admirer of your work, especially now that from designer you're walking a different path, a little bit different, and very successfully. Because exactly today, I saw the announcement on LinkedIn saying that you became the CEO of ERKS Virtual Studio.
Right.
Very proud of you. Thank you for being here. And I hope this is the first one, a first conversation of many that we can have here in NuvemTALKS.
Oh, that's so nice. Thank you, Marino. I have always been a great fan of your work as well. And I am very proud of you, of what you're doing with Nuvem. So thanks. Yeah, we did announce it today. It was like a coincidence. We were planning on doing it, but I don't know, it just made sense to us because I was actually more running the business side, and Santi, who's my co-founder, he was doing more of the technological side. So it made more sense for us to change roles. So yeah, I'm really, really excited about it. I think it's going to be like a new era for my company. And yeah, well, do you want me to do a little intro of what we do at ERKS, or? Do we
Well,
have that?
before we start with ERKS, because of course, like I want everyone to understand what exactly you guys are doing there, and that is
Right.
very connected to what we were talking before, the digital revolution and this moment in the planet where we're so connected to technology, to AI, and with you to VR. It's also important to say that I'm in this season trying to bring like guests that have different perspectives, not only the designer perspective or the architectural perspective, but different perspectives about the same subject, so we can open our minds as well. But before we start, I want to, like, as a warm up, to ask you to remember where did we meet and how was this encounter between the two of us professionally, right?
Okay, sure. Yeah, that's amazing. Well, we met working. We were both working at WeWork here in Buenos Aires. Um, we were in the design team. We were both interior designers. You were senior, I was a lead. I was a junior. I don't remember like the task we had, but you know. And yeah, it was such an amazing time for me. WeWork was a life-changing time. Really, like I understood so much of different ways of working, different people from all over the world. You were there from Brazil, and we had teammates from all over. So it was a really exciting time. And I always loved the way you design. You are like so precise and so caring of your designs. That's amazing. So I don't remember like the exact encounter when we met actually.
Yeah, of course, because it was like in a very fast-paced environment. To be honest, we were trying to do our best in this crazy startup, but it's so good to have those memories, right? Because in the end of the day, the way I see it is, I think WeWork, for me at least, like was a very a great influence in terms of looking for innovation, right? And looking for technology. So I always liked innovation and technology, but at that time I was really into like the community theory, and I was reading all the Wikipedia that they had there. It was very cool. But honestly, like to our public, I think it's cool to say like we work together, like developing some projects, and those projects were built here in Brazil. So great pleasure to work with you.
It was amazing. No, it was such a great time, really, WeWork. And yeah, I think that too, you know, from the technology point of view, we had like an in-house team only to create, you know, tools for us, for our specific needs. That was super cool. I didn't have like an experience like that before. And I think it really changed my point of view as an architect, you know, and this like the way of working was so much different, like from an studio, you know, like that was like my previous experience. So yeah, it was great. It was really fun. We worked a lot.
We worked a lot, but it was very much fun.
Right.
Okay. So I'm gonna start with the first question, and this is gonna be a very important one because, as I understand, the studio, your studio, which is like ERKS Virtual Studio, doesn't work with design of spaces anymore. So I want you to give like a lot of detail for this one because it's going to be very interesting for the people that are listening to us.
Yeah.
So what exactly you're doing?
Okay. Well, so after I left, well, I'm an architect, right? So after I left WeWork, I was kind of in a professional existential crisis. I was a little unsure on where to go next. And Santi, who is my partner and now my co-founder, he is really a technology geek. He loves tech. And he was like kind of talking me into let's do something with this tech that was specifically virtual reality at the time. telling me like this will change the world, the way we work, the way we live, the way we connect. And I always like, I think I always understood tech in a way. Like I've always felt really comfortable with it. I am so much more an architect of doing renders rather than an architect of going to, the construction site and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So he started like talking me into this like future world of spatial computing and stuff, and I was like, yeah, I mean, I think it will be like this, and but I was like a little unsure of what we can do with it. And so what we started doing at the beginning, this was 2021.
Yeah. So pandemic, right? Like after.
It was like right after. Yeah.
Right. After.
We made like after pandemic. We did like a 5-month trip to Mexico. We stayed 5 months there. So there was when we started like crafting it in our minds. And then when we came back, we started like actually doing it. We had a third partner that was Matias Gasser. We are now not partners anymore, but he really helped us out. He gave us like an initial funding so we could like start doing research and understanding what we were going to do. Mm-hmm. And so what we did at first was I started modeling, 3D modeling architecture projects that I had like from my portfolio and learning like the tools to take that project and put it into virtual reality. Okay. We started with architecture, 100%. And Santi is a telecommunication engineer, so he's not a programmer, but he did understood kind of like the programming languages a little bit. Mm-hmm. So we both started to learn. I was learning more from the modeling side, and he was learning more from the programming side. And we actually developed our MVP. That was an apartment. We reached out to some people we met in our Mexico trip that had, I don't know the word in English, but they build buildings. And we reached out and we said like, okay, we will do this for free if you want, so we can like try the tech out. And we did that one. That was our MVP. It took us like months, actually, like 6 or 7 months. Mm-hmm. But it was cool because we did have like our client in Mexico, and we could do this back and forth and understand what was working for them and what wasn't. So ERKS started 100%. Let's do virtual reality for architecture because I was an architect. Santi kind of knew the tech, and we thought like it makes sense. And we did, I think, 4 or 5 projects, which was good because we were just starting. But it became like kind of hard to sell because this was 3 years ago, and what I found was like it had like such an onboarding that we had needed to give to our clients, because the idea was that we created the project, the software, and we gave them a headset so they can have the headset in their office and showcase it to their clients so they could sell properties before they were built. Yeah.
It's very like it's becoming very usual right now, right? Like to have this experience, this
yes, it is
experience
definitely. But 3 years ago, like we couldn't like it was hard. Like it was hard for the client once we had like developed the project and deliver it. They were like calling us all the time. They were having issues. It was like a little bit not so fluid. And what happened was that we started talking to other people from other industries, and apparently we discovered that for marketing, branding activations, publicity, like the kind of tech we were having was like very tempting. Like they saw so much opportunity on it. And by 2022, we put together a little team. I think we were 6 by then. And so we understood that with our team, with the same skills they had, that was 3D modeling, programming for video games. Actually, we use Unity and Unreal Engine, that are gaming engines, and well, virtual reality. We could create also like experiences for brands, and that brands really wanted them, because marketing always wants to show new things, innovate, have like the new thing. To surprise people, to have impact.
Space in a way, right? I think that when you look for architecture, it tends to be a little bit more conservative, like a conservative market.
Right.
While like when you're talking about like either brands, so it can be a design for a brand, or like marketing, it's much more open to technology, innovation, different things, right?
Yeah, 100%. That's what I found like in this path, and it's also like more volatile, I think, because it's like an activation for this event that will happen 2 or 3 days, and then we move on to the next one. So we had so maybe if we were trying things out, it's like more flexible in that way. And I found like so much interest from that industry. So we kind of pivot a little bit at that point and started offering different things that were like brand activations, metaverse spaces. At that time, the metaverse was kind of in their hype. And then like a lot of content. We create now like a lot of content for screens, for social media, and we always use the same tech, that is 3D, and we create like impactful stories. Like I don't know, we overlay digital assets into footage of real life, and that creates like very impactful videos in social media that give brands so much views, and that's like something we do a lot. But for me, the things or the projects that I'm more interested in that I am more interested in are the ones where I actually craft spaces. That there used to be like fewer but bigger projects, because it's like, okay, we are going to design a space in the metaverse, if you want, or in virtual reality, a mini game, whatever. But you still have that layer of design, and you still have a digital space to create. So for me, those are still like the projects that I like the most, and the ones where I feel like I have like the more potential to, to make. I don't know the word in English. No. but if we are like designing spaces, it's always like my comfort zone, and where I think I can like give more to the client. And we have other projects where I kind of lay back a little bit and leave my team that are more experts on it. Well, that's it. So today we do a lot of branding activations. We do virtual reality and augmented reality in one end, and we're also starting to develop augmented reality mirrors that are like that we created them with LEDs, with LED screens that are like full size, and you have a camera on top, and you can see yourself interacting with digital objects in real time. So that's pretty cool for brands. And we're also starting to see how can we create like immersive experiences without headsets, that can be done with screens also, or with projectors. If you can do it like video mapping, you can do it with a dome. So we have like a few things that we're exploring in that area. But the idea is always to create like immersive experiences. So that's on one end, that's immersive, and on the other side we have 3D content. That's how we call it, and that's everything that you see throughout the screen. So videos, we mainly do videos, and images. And in that side we use a lot of AI today. We use it to. Do you want me to go like that through that now, or do you want to like
No, actually, like what I'm curious about is that, okay, so you're telling the story that you guys started like developing the skills to develop like virtual reality projects and designs. And of course, like you were very much influenced by the fact that you are an architect, a designer on the beginning, and then you guys evolved, even like changed markets, which makes sense because you have a market that absorbs this with like more ease than architecture that until like maybe a year ago, people were not that into VR, and now it's exploding, right? But my question for you is like, for someone that doesn't understand, could you give, before we move to AI, could you give us like an example of one of the projects that you like the most, that you guys either used only one technology or a combination of technologies, and the result was very cool for the client?
Yeah, sure. That's great. So we try to always use like a combination of tech. I think one of our biggest strengths is that we leverage a lot of technology and we kind of understand it all, so we can like put it together to create brand activation that's innovative and like not everybody can craft, because not everybody has like that level of knowledge. So I will give you one example that I really liked how it turned out, because I think we could help the client with like an overview and integral like solution. This was for an event in Mexico. We work a lot with, we normally work with marketing agencies that work as our partners. So they have like the final brands that are the client, and we are like their technology partners, so we help them with the tech side. So this was an event in Mexico for a brand that's called ERKS. They are like a industrial client. They develop industrial assets like, I don't know, fire resistance cables, drones, sensors, stuff like that.
Okay.
So very specific.
Yeah.
Very specific, but they were doing like a massive event for their clients for the end of the year. So what we did was like, we developed a lot of 3D objects for that event, and we did an invitation with augmented reality. So before the event, the guests received a flyer in their phones or whatever, and they could scan it, and they got a 3D asset. I think it was like a little rocket that like flew around, and it told you where and when the event was. So that was first. And then they got into the venue, and we created with projections. We created like this 3D portal that you went through before, when you were like coming into the event. That was really cool. And then our partner, that's the agency, so they develop like events, so that's their expertise. So they also included fog and lights and stuff, so we created like the full show with them, you know. So that's my favorite kind of project, because we kind of work with our clients side by side and say, okay, we have this, and then you have that, how can we make it work to make it like better for everybody? And then we made 3D visuals throughout the event. So we used like the same 3D models of their products, and we did like cool visuals with the stuff coming out of the screens, and, you know, like cinematic kind of visuals. And then we made a virtual reality experience that was like the biggest like show in the event, and the experience was showcasing their products that were products that you will not like bring to a venue, and you know, this fireproof thing, you cannot like test it in front of so many people, so you can do it inside virtual reality. And people would put goggles on, and they had like a menu. It was all hands, no controllers, which I think it's great. And so you had like a table on top of you, and you could choose what product you wanted to see, and it will come like in front of you digitally, but you could touch it, move it, scale it, and then like a little video telling you what you are seeing.
Wow.
So I think that's a great example, and that's kind of the projects that I like the most, because I think we can like make an impact, and it's also very optimized because we use like the same 3D asset for all these experiences. And so for the client, it makes more sense. For us, it makes more sense, and we can like do a design that's like a whole.
That's amazing. I like very much because I mean, apart from like different types of technology, what I'm more fascinated about it is that it's all about like the user experience, right? And
Right.
you're taking it like it's a combined experience between like environment and build space with digital and virtual
Right.
space. So it's I think that all these technologies are so cool because in combination you can really create like emotions while the user is navigating an event, from example, and it starts with like a story that you have to tell about
Exactly.
how is it when how would it feel like when they get the invitation until the very end. So combination of technology with physical aspects, as you said, the fog and the lights,
Yeah.
the environment. So I really like it. I think it's really good use of technology to create experiences. And I was always fascinated about creating narratives for user experience, since we work, as we learned very well, for
Right.
the co-working product. It's something that is always in my mind. How do you create an experience? It's not just about like having the technology available and touching the technologies. It's really a narrative, and this is for me is like fantastic. I like very much the
Thanks. Yeah, I feel the same. I'm always aiming for that kind of project. I gave you this example. Like, I think I have like others that are like more fancy brands, but this one I really like because I think it's exactly what you were saying. Like, it allows us to create a narrative from beginning to end, and that's very powerful. And also, people loved it. Like, they were so happy about it. And we had the chance to go to the event and see it in real life.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
It
Awesome.
was really cool, yeah. So I think that kind of thing really upsets me. Like that, those are the projects that I'm like searching for. That combination of digital and physical, and this one was cool, but it was like okay, we included some fog and some lights, but
Yeah.
I think if you go like further, and I don't know, I'm working with I don't know, a designer who designs stands for expositions.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He calls it how does he call it? Arquitectura efímera. I don't know in
It's
you know
yeah,
yeah.
ephemeral architecture, temporary architecture.
Exactly, temporary. That's the word.
Uh-huh.
So I love him. He's so much fun, and we're like so obsessed with this idea of let's like create the architecture, the actual physical thing, and then overlay digital layers of things that are designed. Not only like put there. So those are like the projects that I really
You
want to
like
do.
them.
I like the most. Yeah. And then, I mean, there are other things that are fun and that we can do. And we are doing, by instance, now we're doing a commercial for shampoo with a girl like on top of obelisco, and like she goes like this and her hair starts growing as Rapunzel, which I think is cool. It's fun. It's like a technical challenge, but for me, it doesn't have like that design narrative that you need to craft and think. And I think that's where the magic is really.
Amazing. That's so cool. We have to put some images during like
I
your
will. I will send you. I will
we
send
add
you.
it here for people to see it. So now I want to know, like, are you guys using AI on your project development? If so, like, when did you start it? Like, how was your first experience with AI, and when did you started thinking that it would be a good idea to connect all these that you said with artificial intelligence?
Yeah. Yes, we use it so much. We have always actually used it. Santi, my co-founder, he's such a futurologist. Really, you need to hear him speak. I will try to put him on social media more. But we started 2021. 2022, we started with a little team, as I was mentioning. So we had two 3D modelers and one guy who only did AI research. We didn't know what for. Really, it was like that. Like we weren't sure, but we knew like it was going to be
Let him
something.
do it, right? Like,
Yeah. Ilan, he is actually also an architect, and now he only works at Tech. So I love him. But yeah, we started with that. We at first we didn't know what we were going to use AI for, but we had him. And so, yes, I think it was at the beginning, we used generative AI. We used Midjourney, I think, from day one. Like, it gave you like these 7-finger people images, And I remember like like crafting our first, corporate decks and stuff like that. And and something was, we need to use AI, and it wasn't pretty at first. But yeah, we did that. Yeah, we started with images. I've always used it for images, like from the very, very beginning. I remember at first I used a lot of Midjourney, and I used one that's called Luma also.
yeah.
And then we had Ilan like researching, and he created an AI assistant that was Erika. And we had her, I don't know, we took her to events and put a screen there with Erika, and people talk to her. But it was it was like more experimental. We weren't sure how to actually integrate it with our processes at first, more than for the creative part, which for me was always an amazing asset because, well, you are a designer as well, so 5 years from now, you had to go into Pinterest, create like a sort of image mix collage to get your client to kind of understand what you were aiming for. And now it's so much easier. So for me, image creation was so amazing, like game changing and I used it so much from day one. I actually have one success story that I want to share in social media. I will soon because I think it's really great. At the time, I kind of did it and didn't reflect on it so much. But we created a character for a client that it was like 3D character of some cookies. They are so cute. I will send you the images so you know what I'm talking about later.
See that.
Oh my God, no, I created it with AI. I remember with Midjourney, okay. And the other option for the agency was to get a custom, those big custom thing, and put an actor inside it. So we created it fully with AI, and then our team did the 3D modeling of the same thing that I created with AI. And they used the character not only for the commercial we made, but for the whole year. They put the characters doing stuff, in their Instagram, in their social media. So for me, that was a great success story. And it was we just used the concept that I created with AI. So that was the first time where I thought there's something there that's interesting. And from that, I started using it always to make the initial concepts for clients. I also do it for sometimes before selling, for quotation, because what we sell, sometimes it's really hard to visualize until you have the end piece. So I do sometimes before the project is sold, I do create a few concepts and I send them to the clients. Something like this is what we're thinking.
Really? So you share it with the client even before they close a deal?
Not always.
Images.
Not always. My architect self would never do that. Would never share before you have the project sold. But what happens to me now is this: sometimes I'm saying yes, we can do an augmented reality filter, or I don't know, and they cannot picture it. They don't know what I'm selling. So I do it sometimes. And since I do it quite fast because I have AI, okay, I do it. And I understand the risk is that they can take my idea and take it to another provider. But
we are all in this boat now, I think. right?
Yeah, but I do. I do.
That's
And now
very
I kind of see like, okay, projects that I actually care about, that I really want to happen. Okay, I give more time for sale. But yes, I do that sometimes.
so you kind of had like with this experience that you said about the cookie, like
Yeah.
an idea of a first idea of what could be a workflow, right?
Yeah.
Because in the end of the day, you're saying like one of the uses is to create like inspirational images that after are gonna be like, if the client approves and everything's aligned, like they're gonna be modeled and become
Mhm.
another digital product, right?
Yes.
So is this the main way that you use AI, or do you use AI today, like after this period of like exploration and
Mhm.
experimentation? Do you use it in also in other areas?
Yeah, I actually created recently. I created like a new workflow with my team to create these videos that we call them fake out of home, because they emulate out of home activations that are normally in the street, things that the brands put there and that are surprising to people.
Cool.
So you might have seen like the giant Barbie walking through Dubai, the things like that. So those kind of videos, that's our like bestseller. That's what we do the most. So recently I had this client that is Little Akihabara. It's a brand, children clothing brand here in Argentina, and they wanted to create a character. Again, they wanted to create like these little rabbits, bunnies, with the clothing of the brand doing stuff. And we had like such a short deadline, and they had, because they had their launching event for the autumn, fall, winter season. So they wanted to have the video in their web before the event. And I sent Juan, who is my project manager, to the recording, because we first record like an actual video of the place. So the idea was to have the bunnies walking around their actual physical store here in Buenos Aires,
Cool.
right? So I sent Juan over to record, and he came back. We need to make 8 scenes, and I was like, what? We cannot, like, we have not time. We don't have time to actually animate 3D characters through 8 scenes. It's a lot. When you have a 3D character, animation is kind of the most
Mhm.
complicated part, because you need to not only like animate the foot and the arms, you have to animate the hands, the ears, the face, because if not, it looks like a little
Yeah.
robot walking around. So it was hard. So we like kind of needed to adapt, and but because I also really wanted to do it, because it was a client that I really wanted to push, because I like what they do, because I see like scalability in time and stuff. So I said, okay, let's do it. Let's find a way. So we used so much AI for that project, and that's like the project that I'm using now as an example for the rest. So what we did was, first we created all the concepts of the bunnies with AI. I am now using mainly the OpenAI one for image creation. I used to use Midjourney a lot, but I don't know, now I'm working with that, and it works for me. And it was great. I remember it was the first week they launched the 4.0
Version. Uh-huh.
model. Yeah, exactly. It was like the first week, and I gave it like the bunny image and the clothing image from the website of my client, and it was
Right.
perfect, like the actual perfect bunny with the perfect little, sweater, jumper, the details, the buttons. It was really good. So it was that, and it was really great, because I also like created all these images. So I sent them to my client. Look, I have the bunny already dressed with all your all your collection, and for them it was amazing. They never seen this kind of base before. They used to be things that took weeks to do. So okay, we picked the outfits. I had like the concept, and I and I use another AI to create like the 3D based model of the bunny and the outfits they picked. So you need to put the bunny like this because then the team creates like a little the bones, like the skeleton of it, and that's what you use to animate. We didn't use it in the end. We did a few tries, but you always have to have a plan B. So I had like one person doing like the manual animation, and then we were trying on the other hand to do it all with AI.
Okay.
So I created like the bunny. It was like the naked bunny with the T-pose, and I use Hyper 3D, which is a free tool. It's really good. And then my team did something that's called retopology, which is like to improve the 3D model, so you can use.
Cool.
But that was like a day of work. Same with the clothing. And then what we did, we had like the scenes. We did plan this so that the scenes we have were not moving. Like you cannot do it with a camera that moves a lot. So we planned it like that, and the team created like this. They had the 3D rabbits, bunnies, and they put them like in the initial frame and in the last frame. So we animated it with Clean Pro, initial frame, last frame, and we made them walk. And they moved so well. I will send you the final project, and we actually are doing the second one now that is much better than the first one because we had more time. But they moved so well. Like they had expressions. They like looked at each other in all, like all those little things that to an animator will take so much time. At some time in this project, one of my teammates kind of collapsed and couldn't move on, and I was okay. And I started asking animators, "Hey, can you do this in a week?" And they were like, "You're absolutely crazy. That we cannot do that." No. Okay, I will figure it out. No worries. And we did, and the client was so happy. So I think that after all, and then you have, of course, editing, post-production, music, all those things those things we still do by hand, let's say. No, but it was such a good success story. We did it in 2 weeks. And it was a hit for my client, like so many new followers, like the best, more views in their Instagram. So we did that, and with Juan, who's my project manager, he really helps me like brainstorm, new like these things, new workflows, and how to sell stuff too. And we were like, hey, we have something here it's very interesting, and I think so. Well, to summarize, we use like the AI for the concept phase. We use the AI to create the 3D models that we use as a base, and we use it to animate the bunny. And that's what I'm trying to like take to all the other projects. I have there are different kind of clients and different kind of projects. So I don't know if it's like a fit for everyone, for every project, but for a lot it is, and for us it's really a game changer in terms of time of production.
What I like about this market of yours is that every project can be done with a different workflow, right? So not necessarily like a workflow that was successful for one is going to be successful for others. And also,
it's good and it's bad.
You have to keep in mind like this whole experimental mood or idea or mindset, right? Because then you can bring like or find out about new solutions depending on the request of the client, which is also very cool. I like very much this mindset.
Yeah, I think that's like my creative mindset today is not so much of crafting like the actual project, but crafting the workflow, which is strange, but it's true. It's good and it's bad because, it's also, of course, so much more scalable to have always the same process. But yeah, I more and more see like it's you need to adapt. And also like tech is moving so fast that maybe, I don't know, for this project I use Kling, but then I move on to the next one, and maybe I don't know, Pika now has its new video to video. I haven't tried it yet, but I want to. So yeah, you need to be like a lot like seeing what's going on and what's new in order to like adapt it. But for this, and also I think one thing is, to me, is key is to have a client that understands that it's kind of experimental what you're doing. This client was really great. Like they were super cool with it. They knew we actually sent them like another option that we were doing that was super different, and they were like, yes, we like it as well. Like they were super open to it, and also to what we recommend. Like, okay, we have these two, but we recommend this one because, I don't know, for us it's better, and then for moving on to the next phases. And so yeah, I think that was a success, and we actually are going to do like a lot of more pieces with the same character, which is very great. And it's also good for a client because you already have like the bunnies 3D model ready to use in whatever format you want. So that also helps.
Mix of design strategy and also like educating the client to be open as well, right? Like in the sense of, if you have a client that is more open, you can have like surprising outcomes, and this is great for both, for the client and for who is designing, right? So it's new chances to find out about new things.
Yeah, what is good about the world of marketing is that you always have a challenge. Every project, it's a challenge. It's something crazy and new.
So I wanted to, like, since you said you mentioned it, a challenge, right? Before we move to the next question, like, what would you say were your biggest challenges in the sense of like working not only with AI but with tech? Like when you think about like you did this transition from design to a more tech world, working with VR, with augmented reality, with AI. What were like the moments where you felt it was a bit hard to dive into it?
Imposter syndrome, for sure. Yeah, no, the first year I was like, I don't know. No, I think, I mean, no, not the Dutch. The Dutch was not hard for me. I always loved it. I learned Unreal Engine, I learned Unity, I learned Blender. I program the augmented reality filters myself. Like, I get the Dutch. I like it. Maybe I don't know like the behind, you know how. But I kind of, I'm good at it. I get it. So that's why I got into it, I think. Because I'm like not afraid. Like I don't know, there's this new tool. Okay, let's go. Let's see how it works. So on that end, it was not that hard for me. I did learn, like I did courses and everything. It's not like, but you know, nowadays you have so much information online that you can basically learn everything. But no, for me, I think it was at the beginning. We didn't have like the business model. Like we didn't kind of knew. We were like playing around with tech, and we didn't know how to sell it. So for me, what the challenge was always more on that end, on the business part. So that's one thing. Like at the beginning, I was kind of, I didn't know for sure what I was selling, you know, because I was still like experimenting. So for me, that was like the most challenging moment, like sitting with someone to, you know, negotiate something, a deal, and I was like, unsure. So that's, I think, one thing. I've gotten better, but you always have that. And then now that AI has come like to a more hype moment, there's so many tools, like all the time. So that for me is challenging, like trying to be on the latest because I really want to. And it's also sometimes kind of overwhelming, like every day I have something coming. This new, I don't know, Pika effect thing has come
It's
out, and
a
I'm like,
wave, right? Like
every day,
so,
every day. I haven't tried the one from last
yeah.
week.
You see, like in our
For me, that
WhatsApp group, every day there's something, right? Like our group, like
no, every day,
today
that's
is floods,
crazy,
tomorrow
crazy.
is, oh my God, it's
Yeah, luckily I have
exhausting sometimes.
Santi. No, yeah, for me, it's kind of I mean, I think it's great, of course, because you also have like so many choices and options, and you can find like the tool that fits you, and that's amazing. But for me, that's kind of overwhelming to kind of try to be always on the latest
Mhm.
news. So that's one thing. No, and then really from like this transition, like my team was always so loving with me. Like they even teach me some stuff that I didn't know. So no, it was great. Like I felt comfortable
Cool.
in that end with the team and with the touch. But for me, it was more of those two challenges. I think like the business and then the amount of
Yeah.
information.
You know that I wasn't expecting this answer about the business, like how to sell it, but I think it's so obvious, right? Because it's something so new. And then in the end of the day, it's like
Yeah.
you know the value of it, you understand like how you can achieve like things about it, but you don't really see like the best way to promote it and sell it to a client that is used to so many processes that are so traditional, and it's easier, like I think people they tend to get very comfortable with what they know, and then like you
Yeah.
have to really educate people on the possibilities. It's always this kind of a conversation and educate like
Hmm.
educating people on what can be done, and what is easy, what is difficult, what are the challenges and all of that, right?
Yeah, exactly. No, exactly. There's so much teaching the client and kind of
Yeah.
convincing them to, well, let's try something. Yeah, I know like what you are doing was working for you, but maybe this can like work for you in the
Mhm.
future. So yeah, one of our main things is like walking with our clients in the path to the future. That's how I say it. But I love that though. Like people really come to us to ask, like, "Hey, what's new?" or "I've seen this. How did you do it?" So and I think that's really nice. Like to help them also and to help them learn. But yeah, for me that's still like my biggest
Yeah.
challenge. Like yeah, selling, like pitching the value, because it happens a lot. Like they see it and they say it's amazing, it's really cool, but then they don't buy it because they they rather like see other brands trying it, and then when they're sure, maybe try it.
Okay. So like I think this connects very, very well actually with the last question that I have for you, which is about in where you are right now after this journey, still learning, but like with all the expertise that you accumulated during these years, like running a startup, um, facing these challenges that we've mentioned. What would you say for either a student or a professional that is just out in the market, or even a professional that is out there already but doesn't know how to start incorporating your this technologies, not only themselves but even like plugging with you, for example, for a project? Maybe there is an architect
Mm.
but he's not really seeing like the potential of it. Like what would you say? How would you tell these professionals? What advice would you give to them, like to open
Mm.
their minds?
Yeah. Well, I think first, like you need to acknowledge that we are like in a tech revolution,
Mhm.
like it's happening.
Whether you
I'm
want or
sorry, I know
not.
like a lot of people are scared. Yeah, I know like it's kind of controversial and a lot of people kind of are scared, because I understand. But for me, one thing that I always say that I think it's comforting, at least for me, it's like we have gone through so many revolutions. Like internet was a
Yeah,
revolution. It was not the
definitely.
same life after, before and
Mhm.
after. And we already use, because the main concern I get with virtual reality, at least, is like we are going to be like plugged into a machine all day. And my response is always, we already are. We are all day with our phones, with our laptops, with
All the.
our screens all day. So we already are. So that's one thing.
Mhm.
Like acknowledge it's happening. And then for me, it's like um, try a little thing. Like if you're curious, if you've seen like this tool like might help you with what you with your work, like just give it 15 minutes, sit and try it. And for me, it has unlocked so many skills that before seemed like unreachable, or like I had to like study so much hours and years to get there. And today really it's a lot of things are so much simpler. So just give it a chance. For me, like that, try something. If you're curious about something, like just give it 15 minutes to see a little tutorial in YouTube and try it out. And I think like it will unlock so many things that you are like unaware of. um so I think that you don't have to be scared. You have to try it
Mhm.
and see what works for you. And then yeah, I think like as an advice to every professional, like not only architects, I think we all need to start reviewing our processes. And if you have a process that you have been doing for 5 years, well, probably we now have tools that will optimize it. So I know it's like uncomfortable, because if you have something, but for me, like tech it's always like a way to regain your time, your creative power. Like I see it that way. I am an optimistic, but I think you kind of need to be if you want to work.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think like I don't know. I do things now that took me hours in 15 minutes. So to me, that's regaining my time and using that time for maybe, I don't know, the creative part, which to me is like the most important. So I see it that way. But yeah, I don't know. I think the advice is like not be scared, just
So.
like try it. Yeah, that's
Yeah, I think it's cool because, well, in the end, there's a lot of fear sometimes, right? Like people are for because they don't really understand. They either want it just for the sake of creating nice images without really thinking on the design, on the narrative, or everything, which is something that is bothering me recently. Like,
I know.
okay, amazing, but guys, what is the story behind it, right?
I get it. Yeah.
Or like this fatalism about we're not gonna have jobs, we're not gonna have work, what are we gonna do? I have to do it, like, and I have to do it, but where, how? Like, think about the processes, as you said. So you're doing it for 5 years, the same way. How can you make it more effective? And even to understand which kind of tool you're gonna be implementing on your workflow, you have to first answer the question about yourself and about your practice, your firm.
Right.
How, what is it that I'm doing that I could gain time? And then with that answer, you go for the tool. You don't ask people like, which is the best tool? Well, there's so many tools. Like it's
So
there's.
many, no. And I understand that, like, you can get overwhelmed. Like, I don't know where to start. I definitely understand that too.
Mhm.
Um, but now there's so many tools, and for architecture and design specifically, there are amazing tools. Like, there's stuff that I have been really wanting to try, and I didn't give it like the time because I'm not like currently working on like architecture projects. Uh, I haven't got the chance, but so many things like inside Revit,
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I don't know, but I don't know. I get it. I get the fear and I get the overwhelm. of it. And also, I think like there is now this message that is so like, if you're not using AI, you're like losing, you know. And so I get that like people can be like resistant to it. So from my end, it's always like trying to take it to the conversation from a more kind place, you know. Because I don't know, scared people will not get new tools and do it with excitement. But yeah, I don't know. It's hard. It's a hard moment. I think it's very important these kind of spaces like this that you're doing, like to talk about it, and so that people can hear that there are other people actually using it, and it's not only just creating cute images, but you can use it for other stuff as well.
Yeah.
And I think that's like the main thing, like these learning moments. I think that's what will help people the most.
That's very cool. And that's the goal here with Nuvem, right? Like we open this space like to create a moment for people to talk, to hear, to give opinions, to join the conversation, because it's not about only doing it, it's about thinking about it and having a critic mind on what is good, what is bad. Do I want this? Do I need this? And it starts with I think it starts with a conversation and with sharing, and that's why we're here as well. So,
yeah, I love that. It actually really inspired me, and I was talking to Santi that we should like do something like this with ERKS. I will. I don't want to you can cut this because I don't know, but I really want to do like a small capsules of information, because we consume like those you know, NVIDIA conference that is like 2 hours long, and they tell every news they have, like and stuff like that most people don't see. So I want to kind of reduce it to like 5 minute capsules so that people can like listen to them and know things. Because I find that like people really ask us because they need a reference of people that know, that are actually using tech. So yeah, you really inspired me with that. I think it's very cool what you're doing.
Thank you. So that's it, Cami. I think we got to the end of the episode. I would like to thank you so much to be here with me today. I think it was a great conversation, and I think that is so great to give like people like visibility on other possibilities on how to use this like such technology, not only AI but VR, and how to create digital and physical environments at the same time for a better user experience. Congratulations for becoming CEO of your studio. I'm very happy for you. And yeah, I think we should continue the conversation.
Oh yeah, I have so much more to say. So whenever you want,
we can.
Okay, Mari, thank you so much. This was so much fun. I loved it.
Okay, so if you want to find Nuvem Design and NuvemTALKS, we are on Instagram. It's just like looking at us there. I'm gonna leave the links below, and also if you wanna hear it on Spotify, is also available. And I wanted to ask Cami, like, if you want to get to know better about her studio and maybe even reach out to her to connect, how can everyone find you online?
Sure. You guys can find ERKS, which is my studio, both in LinkedIn, X, and Instagram. It's ERKS.io. And you can find me too on LinkedIn. I'm Camila Rivero. And please reach out. I will answer for sure.
Cami is very active on LinkedIn. It's amazing how she's like posting.
I try.
Really, events that are happening around the planet, and her participation in events as well is super good to follow her on LinkedIn.
Okay, thanks, Mari.
So thank you so much, and that's it.
Thank you. I really enjoyed it, really.